Yeah, I put zero in it. There's a 10-second. That's all.
Hello, everyone. If you can hear me, can you just give me I on the live chat, please? All right. Hello, everyone. So we're gonna discuss something else from advertising and marketing today because we've been talking about the topic, and I realized that we have had 40 people who are attending the workshop, but then all the time the number of people who are attending the discussions keeps on decreasing. And also understand the fact that we are on a live session, and whatever I say reaches you by 5 to 10 seconds late. Okay, so please bear with me, and I'll keep asking you to say I or keep asking you to give me questions. Please chat on the live chat. So if you're ready to go, can you please give me can you just say ready to go on the chat? All right then. So Sanskriti said she's ready to go, so I'll be going ahead. So do interrupt me with your message if you have any doubt. Okay. So today we're going to speak about something different from advertising and marketing as a workshop. We're going to speak about what is the importance of youth and what is the importance of mentors, and what do you want to really do take up as a career. Yeah, so all of us joined this particular workshop either for a certificate, either for to actually learn something, something that you've been passionate about. Advertising is something that might interest you, marketing is something that you really want to do, and most of you might be engineers, business administration students, a lot of people. So usually what happens in today's world, like I'm going to speak to you about what why the startup the climber was formed and why the MyCaptain program is run. All right. So to simply put in one line, I want you to remember this: that My Captain is nothing but essentially a youth mentoring youth platform which enables students to discover and pursue their passions by helping them make an informed career choice. All right. So now think about it again. So I said it's a youth mentoring youth platform. I am youth. I'm 22 years, and you people are probably 18 to 22 years old, right? So it's a youth mentoring youth platform where I've done something in my last 2 to 3 years, which has made me reach this particular level in advertising and marketing. And I want to tell you that what, I was in the same stage as you were. My parents told me that take up engineering, it's the only thing that you can do well, or that is the only thing which will get you a job. Take MBA, that is the only thing which will get you a job. Study well, that is the only thing that will get you a job. And everyone, like my friends, my peers, my relatives told me that do not really take up advertising and marketing. You can do nothing out of it. I was part of an organization called ISEC. It's the world's largest youth run organization, but the amount of salary that I get there was zero. And therefore everyone is like, why do you want to work for an NGO which does not pay you anything when you're so talented and you can actually study so much in engineering? And that's why I ended up taking up computer science engineering. I absolutely hated it. I got placed in a company, but I rejected that company's offer to start something called the Climber. Right. So today I'm going to talk to you as the national vice president of operations for an organization like ISEC. And also I'm going to talk to you like the co-founder of the Climber, who has taken up something and actually made something out of it. So are we ready for this? Let's go ahead. Let's discuss what actually happens. All right. So the Climber again, it's an NSR cell IIM Bangalore incubated company. So we stand at a evaluation of 5 crores today. And if you can see under the Climber logo is basically the Climber man taking a rope and going, stepping ahead, right? So that's what what the company is defined by. And if you can see under the ENR, it's creativity, curiosity, and inspiration. So this is what we want to build in the people. We want the 5-year-old brains to still remain as they are. I'm sure that all of you have watched the movie Tare is a main perk, right? So we are all dreamers. We are all creative people when we are young, but then that curiosity is lost over time because the schools and the colleges kill that curiosity and make you a real bored person in life, and therefore there's no inspiration. So we wanted the Climber to come in and say, let that creativity stay. Be curious, always keep looking for bigger and better things to do, always keep looking for interesting things to do. Find inspiration in closer terms, find the inspiration in a person who is sitting right beside you in class, who's pursuing his passion. Find inspiration not only in role models like Bill Gates or Abdul Kalam or Nelson Mandela, but find inspiration in people who are of the same age as of you and actually doing something. So that's what the climber is about. So I'll tell you a simple anecdote of who we really are with an example that I want to show you. All right. So just give me like an understanding of what you understood so far. Are you finding it a little interesting? Just put it on the live chat so that I can go ahead. Do you want me to go ahead? Is this interesting or is this really boring? All right, perfect then. So I got it saying it is interesting. So all right, so I'll tell you where it all started. Okay, so I was studying in Chennai. I believe you all know SRM University in Chennai, right? So we were a couple of people who were basically sitting in a room, like all of our friends sitting in a particular room, and we were discussing about the next day's exam. We were preparing for the next day's exam, and we were having a group discussion. And the funny part, and but the real fact is that all of you know what happens in a group discussion, right? We discuss everything else apart from the next day's course syllabus. So next day was a test, but rather we were discussing about everything else. We were talking about the stars, we were talking about Coldplay, we were talking about the cars, we were talking about movies, we were talking about actors and stars, we were talking about everything else apart from the actual thing which was supposed to be discussed, which was tomorrow's test. And while we were discussing all of these topics, we suddenly stumble upon this topic where we start to discuss. And I say, you know what, like I say to my roommate, stating that, dude, studying computer science right now, but then I actually wanted to be a scientist when I was young. And then another co-founder of ours says I wanted to be an astronomer, and some other friend says I want to be a writer. And yet we are all sitting there and mugging up code, or studying formulas for fluid dynamics for the next day's exam. And we really, really did not like it. We wanted to somehow change this. And from that thought, like, basically we were like, why don't we start something of our own? And actually our chief executive officer Zishan went on and actually started something. And that was when was born the MyCaptain program. So what happens, like, usually all of you, I believe you can relate to me when I say this. Most of you sitting here attending the session is an engineer, told to pursue being a doctor, or probably pursuing business administration, right? So I think it's true with all of you, almost all of you. There are few other people. I'm not saying that there are other people in humanities and art studying other things, but this is like one of those things which people ask you to take. But then when you were king, what really happened? You spoke about different things. You had different dreams. You spoke about being a pilot. You spoke about being a scientist. You spoke about being an astronomer. You spoke about 100 different things. That can be a police, that can be taking civils, and probably being a government servant, and actually being a politician or a prime minister or a president at one point of time. But then the amount of engineers and the amount of people studying business administration today is insane. But the amount of companies able to hold these many engineers is very, very less compared to that. And therefore, there are high rates of underemployment and unemployment in India. And that's what makes India a lower economy, right? So this is something that we really, really, really wanted to change. And from that thought was build the My Captain program. And we said, why do we want to provide courses on engineering or business administration or math, physics, chemistry, or IIT courses? But why don't we provide it based on what you really want to do? Maybe an advertising and marketing, maybe a psychology, maybe robotics, maybe photography. So all these habits that you have had when you were young, all these hobbies and habits and aspirations that you really wanted to be, why can't you actually become those? There are very few people who are taking those, and there's a huge future in the particular company, but we believe that there's no particular future, right? So from that thought, we changed all of this, and we really wanted to build up. So that was the first step that we took towards making courses which were related to passions. And the second aspect being, we did not really want a 40-year-old gray-haired person who has had experience for 20 years to take up something like this. Rather, we brought in a person who is younger than 25 years old and has achieved something in his or her particular field. And that is your particular mentor who is there on top of you. And all of this provided at what cost? 1,000 rupees per month. It's a 30 days with discussions, tasks. Yeah. Can you see now? All right. So it's 30 days with tasks, discussions. So I believe like the screen was lost for some time. So this was what I wanted to really show you guys. Yes. So this is basically why we started and what we do, what we really want to do. And this is where I'm not talking about the company as such. I'm not here to talk about what we do and why we do all of this, but I'm particularly talking about you realizing what you are a part of. When you actually took up and paid us 1,000 rupees, did you realize that this was a moment this big? We are actually trying to revolutionize the Indian education system. Of course, we're not there, but we intend to get there. We are putting in all our efforts to reach out to as many people in the city of Bangalore, because we have our head office in Bangalore. We intend to reach out to each and every city, each and every rural area. So this is how we really want to give the courage for students to say that, I was in the same stage as you were 2 to 3 years back. But you know what? Today I took that step ahead, had that courage to pursue what I really wanted to do. And today I have a respectable position in the society. And what am I, 40, 50? No, I'm 23. And that's what I want to build. At one point, we want to see our mentees, who are all of you sitting here viewing this lesson today, to be a mentor at one particular point of time. And therefore we are taking all the efforts to build WhatsApp groups and our platforms and different other things to make our lessons interesting and make our discussions very interesting, probably talk to you. And we have college to go to, we have office to attend to, but then we take out our time in order to provide you the best experience possible in the field of your own interests. How difficult is it for someone to find 1 hour on a Monday or a Thursday to learn about something that they're really interested in? If you're not able to find 1 hour in 2 hours in a week, that means you're not really interested about it, right? So this is where you question yourself. So throughout the advertising and marketing internship, if you've already realized that advertising or marketing are two fields that you do not want to get into, I'm extremely happy for that, because you've realized that this is what it is, and you didn't go about what you see on TV. Everything looks creative, everything looks beautiful on the TV, but that's not something that you want to do, because you've learned the theory and the practical part of what it actually means, right? So this is what I'm happy for. But the second aspect is, if you really want to take it up, if you understood the concept that I spoke about, and if you really want to take it up, why aren't you actually coming out and asking me questions on how do I take it up as a career captain? Give me a real-time example of how you want to take it up. So this is a platform for you to actually, the mentor is at your disposal. So ask them what you want to do, how you want to do, and how do you want to go about it. And I'm sure you're pretty lost, because half of you are engineers, half of you are business administration, and you want to take up something which is so clueless when you're an engineer, which is advertising and marketing. So let's change that. Why don't you use me 24/7? And I'm telling you, you have a lifelong connection with the mentor at MyCaptain program, right? So this is the change that we want to bring about. And the whole aspect of you talking to 10 other, 15 other people who've had this particular kind of dream to actually go out there and do something. I'm sure you have classmates who are really good at doing something, but what do they end up doing? Mugging up code or mugging up formulas and just going and throwing that up in the next day's exam, right? So anyway, so moving on, basically, like if you can see that, that's a picture that I really believe in, because I've been through that. Graduation line starts here. Everyone tells you, after 10th, do really score really well in 10th, you'll find a good future. and then your 12th class comes. Do very well in 12th, and then your future is good. And then graduation comes. Everyone wants you to become an engineer because everyone believes that that is the only place where you get a decent salary, and there's so many companies out there to take you. But once you go to engineering or XYZ graduation, you realize that not every company wants to take you unless you are in the cream of the crowd. And you can't be in the cream of the crowd until and unless you love what you're studying, you love what you're pursuing, right? And therefore, that is the point where your unemployment line starts. Why are the companies laying off employees? Why are the companies actually deeming India as one of the highest unemployed and underemployed uh, countries? Right. So basically, who is a mentor? In simple words, someone who teaches or who gives help and advice to a less experienced person. So the idea is, I'm sure that while learning the concept of advertising and marketing, you were able to go back to your class the next day and speak about it to your friends, saying, I learned a new concept. You can actually brag about it. You can actually give them information, whatever you want to call it. Yes. But the idea is, how are you making sure that you are actually doing this on a daily basis? How are you practicing what you're really passionate about? If you love something, I'm sure you would go and tell 10 other people. How are you inspiring them to do the same? That means when you are telling 10 other people and giving them information, you are being a mentor there. You are being the person who is delivering information and helping 10 other people understand the same. And this is what is called a revolution. So when we say we want to change an education system or build a passion revolution, this is what it is. It starts with people like us, the young bread earning citizens of the country, to do something like this in order to change and not succumb to what course or what syllabus the school or the college has to provide. It's more than that, right? And therefore, like, I don't want to bore you more, but this is what the MyCaptain program is, right? So, and now understanding, like, now you see the first picture being a person, a kid who is really confused. If we really want that confused kid to actually find a path. If, let's say, before the advertising and marketing workshop, you were really fascinated by the different advertisements, be it Coca-Cola, be it Nike, be it all of the things that we discussed in the past 15 to 20 days. But then later you realized, wow, a lot of effort goes into advertising, a lot of creativity goes into it, a lot of marketing aspects go into it, and that's not what I really want to do. Therefore, MyCaptain has helped you get a better understanding in terms of what you want to do with life. So do the same with your friends, right? So basically, that's basically what the MyCaptain program is, right? And the workshops that we have at the moment. And this is what I invited you for, a session on a Wednesday. We're not supposed to have a session, but I hope after the session, like after this particular explanation, we'll go back to the portal and discuss a few more interesting topics over text, which I can't do over a video. But I hope you understood what MyCaptain is and what is the essence. So I need only one favor for you, from you, basically, to take up a discussion on the portal and also the WhatsApp group, where we'll be speaking about different interesting things, speaking about our career, speaking about how to build our resume, speaking about everything else. We spoke about advertising and marketing. Every time we spoke about selling products, selling startups, or selling companies, right? Why don't we talk today about selling ourselves? How do we sell ourselves to a company? How do we get placed? How do we sell ourselves to another person sitting in front of you so that he calls you a speaker, he calls you a confident person? And everything builds on communication, right? So that's what we want to do. I invite you all to the platform back. We'll be discussing a lot of more things. But yeah, like, I believe this can be inspiration for us to invite more people who have not been uh, attending daily and not being regular, to actually take up that step and come and be part of the discussions every day, right? So all right, so I'll be waiting for you to give me your views on the YouTube live link on the chat. All right. So just leave your comments and we'll go to the portal. We'll go back to the portal. Perfect, guys. Let's go back to the WhatsApp group and we'll yes. Yes. Perfect. We'll do all of this. We'll discuss about all of these things. Perfect. I'll be waiting for you. So I'm switching off the session for now. I'm stopping the broadcast. Let's go ahead and discuss all of these things on the WhatsApp. Bye bye.